Yeah, man. And we're going to be talking about 10 things you didn't know you needed in your drone bag.
Especially if you're a brand new pilot. So if you're a
Yeah,
new
that's for
pilot,
sure.
yeah, if you're a new pilot, these are some things you might not like think about that you'd have in your bag. If you're an
Yeah.
experienced pilot, then drop a comment and let us know what things you got in your bag. That'd be
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, man. So why don't we just get started, man? We'll get into it right
Yeah,
away
let's
here.
jump right into it.
Yeah, we came up with a list. Now I'm sure this list is not it's not really a top 10 list. I would say
No, not a
it's
top
10
10 list.
things. Yeah, it's just 10 things that we thought of that you must have in your drone bag.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so let's start the
Essentials.
list. Yeah, there you go. So let's start the list with the first thing tonight is going to be zip ties.
Always got to have some zip ties in your bag.
Dude, zip ties are huge, man. And I didn't know that long time ago. And I never used to carry them. And somebody showed me it one day and changed things, man, big time.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of things you can use zip ties for. Anywhere from like keeping your antenna out of the way of your props, all the way from, holding down wires and ESCs on the board. And shoot, I
Oh,
think I've
dude.
even like zip tied my GoPro into a GoPro mount many times.
Oh, dude, I've done it where I've actually cracked used to use those plastic standoffs on
Yep.
and I cracked one and I had to use a zip tie to strap the flight controller down. So
Oh yeah. Actually, you know what? That brings up a good thought here.
okay.
I don't know if you caught that short that Bardwell did, but you can zip tie your air unit light to the frame instead of using screws. Just run zip ties through the holes.
Oh,
Yeah, I was
that's
like,
smart,
that's a
dude.
real smart idea. I think he said he got it from I think Cricket. So I think
Yeah.
Cricket originated it, but Bardwell made a little video
Shout out to
about it.
Cricket.
Shout out to Cricket. Shout out to Bardwell for knowing it all.
Yeah, if you don't know who Bardwell is, you need to check him out, man. Joshua Bardwell.
Definitely.
Yeah, he is the man with the answers to all of your questions. Well,
And
most of your questions.
most all your questions. And if you don't know the
Yeah.
answer, he'll find out.
And he's got a video for just about everything. So yeah, you guys definitely need to check him out if
Yeah.
you haven't seen Joshua Bardwell.
Definitely.
Especially if you're getting into drones. If you're just starting to do FPV, he's the guy, man. He definitely helped a lot of people.
Definitely.
He got me in the air for sure. A couple times, man. Things get stuck, but zip ties are even good for like I got my air unit zip tied down with zip ties. It's not it's a two-sided sticky tape on the bottom of it and then a zip tie around it and it's not going anywhere, bro. So zip ties are definitely a must-have thing for the drone bag. And if you go to like a Harbor Freight, they have them there. You can get like all the different sizes for $5-6
for sure.
But I would recommend maybe spending a little bit of money on a little bit better zip tie if you're going to be strapping down like your air unit or something like that. Because if it does come off, you at least want to get something that's, because some of the teeth on them, if you get like the cheaper ones, they will break on you. Oh, look, I got some right here, dude. Check this out.
I
got zip tie. Yeah. So they're good for everything, man. I use them for lots of different things, not even FPV related too.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're putting up Christmas lights, couple zip ties, zip,
Right. Definitely.
So, but let's get to the second thing that you're going to need in your drone bag, drones. And what would you think coming from a guy that's always taking his drone bag everywhere?
Well, not only for myself, but for everybody around me who seems to always forget, extra screws. So you can have like motor screws, you could have frame specific screws for your frame, definitely. Because you always want to make sure you got extras of those. Those things can vibrate out sometimes.
That's for sure, man. and then if you go on to like Amazon, you can actually buy a set that has all the different lengths for your M2, your M3, and then you can pick the different heads. Now I was finding that the different types of heads, I kind of enjoyed the screws with the bigger head on the top.
Yeah, the bucket heads.
But the problem with them is it's like a socket head.
Yeah.
The problem I found with them though is if you do your flight controller with them, they can actually smack the ground and they
Cause
can break your
vibration.
bottom plate
Yeah, I could see that
because
happening.
they stick out too much. So I would recommend them on the motors for sure, because
Yep.
they're not going to do that to the motor,
They're
to
almost
the
like
end of the
skid
arm.
plates.
And they never strip out, because it seems like with those pan heads, or is that what they're called? Pan head, the rounded head?
Yeah, I believe so.
Those are the ones I seem to have a problem with stripping. You know what I mean? They'll strip out on me before any other kind will,
Yeah,
Oh, here he
so
goes. He's got some up there.
yeah. So this is a good like example of a good kit to get. You know, was it $27, and you got all types of M3. Look at 1,110 pieces. You know, so I mean
What?
that's a lot of screws, man.
Yeah, that definitely is, man.
But yeah, screws are definitely a must to have in your bag.
Now, another trick that you can do too is, like, a lot of these drone parts that we buy, they come in fancy little plastic cases and boxes.
Yep.
Dude, save those, or save a few. Don't I know I used to have like boxes of them, but dude, they're
I
great for
did.
everything. And for your drone bag, you put your screws in them, you
Oh,
could put like extra pieces of tape in them. You can do like all kinds of different things with the stuff that they pack, the flight controllers and stuff in,
right.
right?
I'm very surprised that I don't have one within reach right now, even at my desk, away
Yeah,
from
I'm
all my
looking
drone
around me
stuff.
here. I don't have one either, but dude, they're so handy. We used to fly Emax motors a lot, and they used to have the most sweet boxes because they were
Right.
big enough. You could put 18 650 batteries in them, even. Like, they're perfect. Um, so yeah, guys, save your boxes for that kind of stuff, for your screws, washers, um, any kind of thing like that, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
okay, so the third thing I'm thinking that you're going to really want to have in your drone bag is electrical tape. And to go along with the electrical tape, a little pair of scissors. Like,
Yeah.
they don't have to be big, but I'm a big fan of cutting the electrical tape and not doing it with my teeth.
Big fan of cutting the cheese.
But dude, when you got scissors, it feels really nice. You know what I mean? You can cut that like
Right.
without being a savage, So,
Yeah.
but
Ripping
electrical
it
tape,
apart.
it's so good for just about everything, man. There's so many uses for it,
Right.
you know.
And if
I
you really, really want to get crazy and you want to fly in the rain, wrap your whole entire quad in electrical tape.
Does that work?
I've seen this done before. If you seal
Are
it
you
up right,
serious?
yeah.
So
I wouldn't recommend long flights with it, but
yeah, you don't want to get water inside, right? Not
right.
on the inside of the electrical tape. But no, it's great for things like you strapping down your motor wires, or if you're using ESCs on your arms, that you could tape those down. Race wire, I use that to tape my race wire down in the middle. It's just handy for all kinds of stuff. So
Yeah, for sure.
definitely a good thing.
For sure.
And don't buy the cheap stuff. That's the
Yeah.
thing too.
Yeah, I've learned
It-
that lesson. It comes
yeah,
undone. You ever been
it does,
flying and
dude.
all of a sudden you just like you fly past yourself and you hear this like noise? Like, what was that?
Well, especially when it heats up, man, when it gets hot out, like that
Yeah.
cheap stuff, the whatever the adhesive they use, it's not good. So guys, I would recommend, if you do get some for your drone bag, get like a 3M or a Scotch, or at least like a major brand. Or if you're getting it off Amazon, look for like a 4-star at least.
Right.
Don't get that 2-star tape or that dollar store tape.
The dollar store stuff. That stuff
Yeah, I've
crumbles
been there
after a
though,
while.
man. Yeah, I've been there, and you don't want to do it. You get the cheap zip ties and the cheap electrical tape.
Zip ties are breaking.
Yeah, it could do some things that you don't want it to do. So,
Yeah, you definitely have to get some like commercial electrical tape.
but yeah, those are definitely things that you would need for sure, man.
Yeah.
Um, so getting on to the fourth thing on our list tonight, what would you recommend drones in for the fourth thing?
So I think this is like a really important thing, and like it really depends on like what your budget is to how well you can use this tip. But I always say have spare parts in your bag. Spare
Okay.
motors, spare cameras, arms, top plates, camera mounts,
Yeah.
cameras, anything you can afford to have spares of. have spares.
No,
Spare parts are really important.
it's great advice, man. Ever since I started flying drones, I started to see that the value of having spare parts on hand, because you're going to need them and you're not going to want to have to go home and get them, or
Right, right.
worse, have to order them. You know what
Or
I
even
mean?
worse, imagine this. Imagine you get hit up by the homies and they're like, dude, we found this awesome spot to rip. Come rip it with us. They give you the
Yeah, yeah.
GPS location and you look on your phone and you put it in. You're like, holy shit, that's like 45 minutes away. Let's go. This is going to be awesome. So you jump in the car. You're all excited. Going to go rip a new spot with the homies. It's a
Oh
nice
yeah,
sunny
dude.
day. The weather's perfect. The coffee's perfect. And you get all the way to the spot and you get your first pack in and you smash into something because it's new territory and you break an arm and you don't have a spare arm and you're done for the day. That sucks. Have a spare
Yeah.
arm. Trust me.
No, it's so good, man, to have and if you can have like a spare top plate, a bottom plate,
Yeah,
spare
anything.
camera, if you could almost have a full spare drone, you don't need all four motors. I wouldn't say, at least two motors though, because sometimes you think one's enough, and you do have a bad crash and you'll kill two of them.
Yeah.
The best thing though is to have a backup drone.
Yeah,
um,
definitely have a backup drone,
if you can
especially if
have,
you
I mean,
can.
if you can afford it, I know it's expensive and a lot of people can't afford a backup drone, but even if it's like a beater, you know what I mean, something that will be able to get you back in the air while you work on your main rig, that way at least you can keep flying, and in between packs you can work on your main rig. But definitely spare parts, man, that's a really good point. Like, and have them in your bag. And I
Yeah.
know Traveler 13, he even will solder up his flight controller and his ESCs
Yep.
and put the motor wires on them
Have
so they're
everything
ready to
ready.
go.
Yes.
Yeah, you just unplug, plug in, and then solder your motor wires up to your race wire or whatever you got,
Yep.
and you're ready to go. So
Absolutely.
being prepared, man.
Being prepared, having spare parts, and yeah, spare parts of everything.
I got another one that I'm going to sneak in this list, so make it 11 things. But
11.
11, but I think this one's really important, man. If you're new to flying and you've got a car that's got a decent trunk, or even if you don't,
Got
they
that
have the
junk in the
drone.
trunk.
Yeah, they have the drone saver, but bring
Oh,
yourself a stick.
yeah.
Something, even like a painting pole will work to help you extend your arm a little bit, because sometimes it'll just be out of reach and you can't get to it. And if you had a pole will save the day. And then I guess with that drone saver, that's the one, you know what I mean?
The
That
drone saver is
that
the drone saver.
it's like 50. Well, if you don't know what that is, guys, a drone saver is actually an extension pole that I believe goes 50 feet. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe more.
Yeah, it's either like 50 or 75 feet. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is nuts. But what
I,
that'll
I've
do is,
I've
if you,
seen it like many times in action. It'll work great.
well, I got one now, so we've got to have to. I don't want to test it out really, but I kind of want to test it out.
Oh, it's gonna get tested out as soon as the weather breaks, man.
Yeah, dude, it's been so hard to fly with it being so cold. You know what I mean,
I'm telling you, man, my whoops have been my best friends for the last like I feel like a month almost, man.
dude? Even like you asked yesterday when we spoke, you said, "Are you going to get out fly tomorrow?" And I was like, "Dude, I haven't even had the itch because it's
It's
been
so
like
cold.
17 degrees here in Michigan." So
I always say anything for me, anything above 30 to 35 degrees, I can tolerate it and get out for a
yeah,
couple packs. But when it gets so cold outside, and you got to factor in that wind chill too, it's like 20
oh, dude,
degrees. You put the wind chill in, it's like 10 degrees. You step outside and your nostrils are like sticking together and stuff.
oh my
It's
god,
like,
dude. That's when you know it's cold, when your nose hairs freeze and you breathe in your
the other
nose.
day, I was in a hurry, like on my way out the door to go to work and whatnot. So it's
Yeah,
basically like one of those, how you get those times where you jump up, you hit the shower, you get dressed, and you run right out the door and go to work,
yeah,
right?
yeah. You're
All
on
right.
the move,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. So it's one of those days. So, I'm getting out, and obviously I still got a little bit of water in my beard and my hair and stuff from my shower. From the front door to the time I got in my car, it formed little ice crystals in my beard. I was like, good Lord. I
Dude,
had
that's
a
crazy.
frosted beard, man. Can you imagine having a
Yeah,
frosted
dude, you're
beard?
like that guy from the Iceman or whatever from the superhero movie, Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Drones and freeze. Let's get
Drones and
back to this
freeze.
list, man. I'm starting to get off track
Oh
here,
yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah, we got a
we
list.
were saying that the drone saver was the additional one. But
Yeah.
the next thing on the list,
This would be number 5.
yeah, what do we got? Drones and
Number 5. This is a good thing to have so you don't kill your batteries, guys. Always have a voltage checker in your bag.
yes. This
Voltage
I
checker.
learned very early that it's very huge to have it. And
Yeah.
and then too, when you fly your batteries, try to have a system to where you're putting your used batteries somewhere else, or maybe you've got a cap on the ones that are charged, the ones that aren't charged, because that's huge too, man. I can't tell you how many times I put an uncharged battery in my drone to go fly
Right.
because I didn't realize where the voltage checker would have told me that it was that it was low.
And always make sure your batteries are charged before you go to rip.
Wow, even going deeper, man.
I
Have
was
you
just
had that
thinking about
happen?
it, like when we're talking about the voltage meter. I'm like, I have definitely had a time where I go to fly and I open my bag and I'm like, oh, there's no charged batteries. I thought they were charged still.
Oh no, I've never you know what? Maybe I have had that happen
Yeah, I've
before.
definitely had that
Where I just
happen.
thought I had charged them and then I didn't.
It was
Oh
terrible.
man. Yeah, that's not a good feeling, man.
Matter of
So
fact, speaking of voltage checkers,
and what kind of so and then for like somebody who's just getting started, what voltage checker would you recommend? Like, oh, there we
bam,
go. Look
I
at
would
that,
recommend
dude.
this one.
Dang, this guy's good, man. Yeah, so these ones here are the ones that I like. Where I guess I like them because they're cheap, and if I lose it, I'm not going to get upset.
Yeah,
It does do that loud ass beep, so you got to put your finger over the
it
beepers.
is loud. It is super
Yeah,
loud.
but you learn right away if you just put your finger over the top of those two little things there, it'll
Yep.
quiet it down quite a bit. So,
Let's
but
see if I can
those
get
are
it a little bit
priceless, man. They're
better.
$5 each. You could probably even get them cheaper, like through, you know what I
There you
mean?
go.
I don't even know, but I remember, I don't know, years ago, I think they were like $2-3 or something at RDQ.
Yeah,
But
they
yeah,
ordered these like $9.99 for 2 packs, so $5 a piece, man.
now they got fancier ones that you can actually check all the cells
Yeah,
and
you know
see. I
what?
think this one does that too, though. It'll roll through each cell one at a time, but they actually have some that'll tell you exactly your voltage and oh, there you go.
There's
Yeah,
this
these
guy
are good ones
here.
here, man.
Um,
Yeah, the ISDT, that's a nice charger too, man.
I thought I had this set up to where it was a full screen in this little box. Maybe not. So yeah, there's this one here too.
Yeah, no, that's a good one there too, man. Yeah, if you're looking for a charger, guys, those ISDT chargers are definitely nice. And then the one that I've been using is that dual. It's a dual. It's also ISDT, but then you can plug it into the wall too.
Right,
If you
right.
got a power supply. Those are nice to have too,
So
because then you don't need a separate power supply, right?
yeah, yeah. I got a good story about these battery checkers, man. So a cool thing about having one of these, a couple months ago when we missed the show because we didn't have power and stuff, I had no way to charge my phone. Well, because I
Yeah.
never fly my last pack, I always have one 6S battery charged in my bag. And with this, you can plug in your battery and use it as a charger. It's got a USB on it. And
Oh,
that's how
dude,
I kept my phone charged during that power outage that lasted for like 60 hours or whatever it was.
that's crazy, man. No, that's
Uh,
cool though, man. You don't even think of stuff like that.
right,
But
right,
drone batteries are full of juice, man. Like a
right.
6S battery actually has quite a bit of juice in
I
it.
charged my phone like multiple times off of one 6S battery and still was at like 3.91 by the time the power came back on. That's
That's
pretty
nice,
cool.
man. But yeah, voltage checker, man, definitely something that you want to have in your drone bag. Um, going on down the list, man. Another thing, this is probably this is something I'll forget sometimes because I'll be doing things at home with it and
Yeah.
I'll leave it at home. But the TS 100 or Squire soldering iron, and bring yourself a little piece of 6337 solder with you.
Yeah.
That's the type
Yeah.
of solder that we've been, and we were talking about that last night a little bit. When you do solder, when I first started soldering, I used to have a really, really hard time with it, man. And it wasn't because of the soldering iron that I had, it was because of the solder.
Yeah.
Like I had
Yeah.
bought
Definitely.
Home Depot solder, and I thought it was good solder. It said electrical, but it was the wrong mixture and it didn't work. You know what I mean? It didn't work very well at all.
Yes. So we got if I can find this one right. There we go. There's some solder for you.
Yeah, that's the type, man, with that blue. I think I've actually ordered this type here. That's the kind I'm using now. It definitely helps to have a good solder.
Yeah, good
eh,
6337 or a 6040. That's what you want to
okay.
run.
Yeah. And when you have the big roll like this, you leave the roll at home. And what you can do is just maybe take a foot or two piece off of it, and you can fold that little piece up and just stick it in the, by your soldering iron. That way you got some solder with you when you're in the field. Cause man, it's terrible. You got your iron and then you don't have a piece of solder. You really need solder. So,
Yeah, for sure.
but yeah, definitely the TS 100, guys. If you haven't checked one of those out, go check one out. Get one for your bag. I think everybody can agree that that is one of the best tools in the bag, man. The
Yeah, because
TS
you want to
100.
be able to like swap your motors out, and if you got to do a repair, you want to be able to do it out in the field. Because again, if imagine going 45 minutes away to go fly, and you crash and you break something, then you don't have a soldering iron. So you want to make sure you got a soldering iron. But that soldering iron, you want to have a flux pin too. Flux pin's a good idea.
Oh yeah, dude. What is it now?
A flux pin?
Yeah.
Hey, you just use the flux pin to help the solder flow.
Okay. I don't think I've ever used a flux pen before.
No? Oh man.
No, no. Explain, man. Explain everyone, because I want to learn what this is too.
So the flux is I don't know what it actually is. It's like a chemical that goes under the solder, and it just helps it flow better. It's kind of like the rosin core, it just gives it that like nice shiny flow.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so
I've
what I'll
used
do
the
is like,
flux in a pan, but I've never heard of the pen.
yeah. So it's just like a Sharpie type pen with like a
Yeah.
little tip on the end of it, and like you run it over the pads, and you just hit it real quick to solder. And then I actually have a flux remover pen that I go back over afterwards and clean up to get all that extra flux off, because not a lot of people know that flux can be conductive if it's too thick between pads. So
Oh, really?
you don't want to gumped up too much. But yeah, I'll go back over it. Sometimes I'll go over like a whole board with isopropyl, some like 90%, 91% rubbing alcohol,
Yeah, yeah.
and a little toothbrush, and I'll hit it real light to make sure there's no like solder splash and stuff on it. But yeah,
Oh,
flux
okay.
pin. Get a flux pin.
Definitely, man. I'm in it now. I want one for my, because I use it at home. And what I usually do is I got a tub of it that I bought years ago, and it lasts forever because you don't need hardly any of it if you buy a tub.
Okay,
But if you
so
take a tub in your drone bag, it'll get hot and it'll
melt
melt
out.
and
Yeah.
it'll get everywhere. So don't do that, guys. Do it.
So
Take drones' advice and get that pen, man.
yeah, Excel132 in our chat says that flux helps with oxidation when soldering and basically helps keep everything clean when you solder. So,
Ah,
so
yeah, it makes a lot of sense, man.
that's exactly what flux is.
Yeah, I guess if you didn't know about flux, you can have a hard time getting the solder to stick to a pad. Because I know now that I
Yeah,
use
yeah.
it really helps get that solder on the pad. But like you said, you put a lot of it on there, you got to be careful because
Yep.
it can go on thick and then it'll bubble up.
It
And
can be
if I didn't
conductive.
know that, getting between pads would short something out or arc something.
Mhm.
So that's good to know, man.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I've had a couple guys tell me, that's been doing electrical stuff for like years. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude.
Good
All
to
right,
know
so
that kind of stuff.
yeah, man, definitely. So the TS 100, guys, is number 6 on our list of things that you should have in your drone bag. So
Yeah.
moving down the list, the next item that we thought up here, what do we got, drone, for number 7?
So this is one of my favorite things. Number 7, blue tack. If you're not familiar with what blue tack actually is, it's that sticky blue stuff that they use to like hang posters on walls and stuff like that. But what we use it for is you stick it to the surface and you can use it to hold your wires and stuff, or hold a whole entire flight controller in place while you're soldering on it and working on it. So
Dude, that helps a lot.
It's like helping hands but better. But I do recommend be cautious, because if you're doing like a lot of soldering on a board and the board gets warm, it will get the blue tack warm and it will stick to it. If that happens, let it cool down for a little bit and just tap it real lightly, and you should be fine.
Yeah,
You
and
also don't want your board getting that hot either, though. So
yeah, and if you do pull it off, guys, and a little bit sticks on there, what you can do is you actually can just dab the blob of it back over the surface, and it'll kind of pick up the remainder that's stuck
like
on the
Play-Doh.
board. Yeah, because I've heard that it can. I've actually put drones together and not realize that I forgot it on the bottom of a flight controller,
Right.
and had to go in there and like take it out,
Pull
like
it back
after
up.
the fact.
And another pro tip. Yeah, Brutal FPV in our chat says it cleans bando dust out of your motors. That's another pro tip with it too. So like,
Dude,
if you're out flying in like some place that's got like a lot of dirt, dust, sand, metal shards, stuff like that, pull the bell off your motor and take that blue tack and just smash it in there and just keep working it through. I guarantee it'll get it all out. I've cleaned motors that were like seized up where you couldn't move them at all. It was like just sandpaper grinding inside.
yep.
That blue tack cleaned it right up.
Takes them right off the magnets, man. You wouldn't believe it. It's pretty wild the way it works. But think about like when you're a kid and you ever have silly putty. Remember silly putty?
Just like silly putty.
Yeah, and you would stick it on a newspaper.
Oh yeah,
and it would just pull the ink right off. So it's doing the same kind of thing with the motor. It pulls oils, it pulls like whatever, man, that's on there right off the motor. So definitely a good thing to have in the bag. And you can get it. I believe they even have it at the dollar store now. So if you live in an area, I saw it at the dollar store. So you can pick it up. You'd only need a little ball about this big to keep with you. And like Drones said, you can use it to hold your wires. You can use it to hold a board. You can use it to clean motors. You can hang a poster up.
And another cool thing you can do with it too. And like, have you ever been trying to like work on a drone and it keeps sliding all over like the table and stuff? Just take 4 little balls of the blue tack and put it on the feet and push it down, and it holds the drone in place too. I've done that multiple times.
Yeah, that's smart, dude. Yeah, because they do get away from you, definitely. Yeah, blue tack's definitely nice, man. And along the lines of something else that's awesome in the drone bag, we'll go on here to number 8 on this list. We got Uma Grip. Now, yes, Uma Grip. Now, if you don't know what Uma Grip is, it's basically, I think it's made by 3M, and it's a very tacky type surface. It's not sticky per se, like there's no adhesive on it, but just the material itself is so sticky that when you use it for like say a battery, put it under your battery pad, your battery's not coming off your drone at all. And that's like one of the best uses for Uma Grip is for your battery. Lay a little strip, maybe an inch wide or so across where your battery's going to go. Stick
you don't need much, guys.
Yeah. One thing I do find with it though is that if it gets dirty, it doesn't remain as tacky.
Yeah, you got to keep it clean.
Yep.
And I found that you can take a just like a little alcohol wipe and wipe it off, and that cleans it up real good. Over time, though, it does start to deteriorate too. Like you do have to replace it after a while. But there's actually a video of Uma guy doing a test with it, and he puts the battery on the quad with no strap, just the Uma Grip, and he's doing flips and rolls. And I mean, he's not out there like doing hardcore like flipping and rolling, but he did flips and rolls, and the battery stayed on. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, dude, yeah, I did. I think I saw that. You could, because I think the first time I got it, I tested that out,
Mhm.
Now they do sell Uma Grip and they sell Uma Grip Light, and Uma Grip Light is actually just as tacky, but it's thinner. It's a thinner
Yeah,
material.
and it's blue. It's like like ice blue is what it
Yes,
reminds me
yes.
of.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're still manufacturing the original thickness Uma Grip. I
Mhm.
think they came out with a light because the other stuff is pretty thick. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you put it on a drone, it actually lifts your battery up, changes the center of gravity a little bit because the battery comes up off the off the carbon a little bit.
I want to say
Um,
it's like 3 millimeters thick or something like that, or 4. It's pretty thick.
it's probably yeah, and I think the light's probably double or like
Half.
half the thickness. Yeah, the regular, yeah, the other way. Regular
Yeah.
Uma grip's about double of what the light is. But definitely something that you'd really good to have in your drone bag. You can use it for a lot of different things. I find the best thing is definitely for your batteries. You can put it in your GoPro area so you're not sliding around. I know people that use it for all kinds of different stuff. So definitely check that out if you haven't seen it before. It's a great
Yeah.
product. Um, all right, man. Moving down our list, we were into all kinds of things to hold stuff on. We're on to number 9 now.
Number 9. I need to get like some sound clips so I can be like, number 9.
Yeah, you cut out for a second there, Dronesin,
Oh,
just for 1 second.
okay.
But now you're
Maybe I
back.
got too far away from the mic. I do have it pushed back a little further than
He's talking about Uma Grip. He got excited over there.
I did.
But what do
But
we got next? What do we got next on our
so
list
next
here,
up on our
Drones?
list is number 9. Number 9 is a Bluetooth speaker. And I think that's a
Dude.
pretty important one too.
Yeah, now I know people that don't really enjoy flying to music, man. They say that they can't concentrate.
Really?
But for me, it
Oh,
changes the game, dude. It
yeah, it makes it a
changes.
lot better.
Yeah. Somebody puts on some chill music or something and you start flying. Oh, dude, nothing like it. Now I won't
Yeah.
fly. I'm scared. I won't fly with headphones in, even if I have people with me. I just feel unsafe. You know what I mean? Like if I can't hear, although I will fly in my car with the windows up in the wintertime, but you can still, I don't know, something about putting headphones into me just seems, I don't know, like I just can't do it. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
don't
mean?
like headphones. I prefer the Bluetooth speaker. It works better.
Yeah. So you turn your Bluetooth on, send a pack. And if you haven't flown to music before, guys, give it a shot one time. See what you think, because it definitely can turn a boring session around. You know what I mean? A good song comes on, you guys start jamming out, and it definitely changes things.
Right.
So, and they do have small ones too, man. You don't need anything huge.
You can
You
go to
know,
Five Below and get one for $5, and it'll work just fine. It's not like you're
yeah,
trying to have like a rave out in the parking lot. Although that would be
right.
kind of fun.
Well, some guys actually pull their cars up and like pop the trunk, you know what I mean, and
That
listen to
is
music
true.
that
That is
way.
true.
So I think just music. When we used to do the drone racing, remember they would always have the speaker jamming the music.
Right.
That helped, and it seemed to help the racing, man. Like when you'd have the music going, you know. So music's definitely helpful. So Bluetooth speaker is the
Bluetooth
ninth thing we
speaker.
got on our list. Um, we're getting down to the final item that we think that you should keep in your drone bag. And what is that, drones? And what are we going to need
For
in
the
our drone
final
bag?
item. So the final item is kind of a mix of a few things, but it kind of falls in one category. That's going to be your prop tool or a multi-tool driver.
Those are sweet, dude. I've seen
Yeah.
some of the new ones. I think it might even be Ethics that came out with the multi one that's got it's like ratcheting,
Yep.
prop tool, and then it's got all of your drivers on it and the most
Yeah.
common sizes too, right? There's a few
Yes.
sizes that people are going to need.
Yeah, so your main sizes are going to be usually like a 1.5, a 2.0, sometimes a 2.5. That's not very often, but a 1.5 is usually most your micros and your 2M screws, and a 2.0 is most of your 3M screws and your 5-inch.
Right. And those are millimeters, right? 1.5
millimeter.
millimeter,
Yeah,
two
yeah,
2 millimeter, two and a
yeah.
half. And then what's the size that everybody's using for their socket for their props, for
So
your prop
prop
wrench?
wrenches for the prop nuts are 8 millimeters. So you want an 8 millimeter socket for your or for your prop nuts.
Okay, so it's 8 millimeter.
8 millimeter. Yep. And there's I believe Newbie Drone has an actual tool kit that has all those tools in it and then some. That's actually like a
Yeah.
good thing to go for. Actually, let me check it. See
Who's
if I
got
can.
that now? Newbie?
Newbie does. Yeah.
I don't think I've heard of that, man. See, what I've got is I've got a socket set that I actually got it from Excel Drones. It's got the all the different size Allen wrenches. It's got a flathead screwdriver, and then it's got Phillips, and then I carry a separate prop tool, and it's just a tool that does the prop. Oh, look at this thing. Oh, look at this, guys. This is
So
what do you have here?
this is from Newbie Drone,
Okay.
and so you get
Wow.
the soldering iron, you get the tools, you get this. Look, it's got a flux pin, solder, tweezers, wire cutters, an adapter, a prop wrench, a practice board. That looks like a multimeter. What is that?
Yeah.
Or no,
A
it's
soldering station,
soldering station, a Newbie Drone tool,
a prop tool for
little prop
the
tool.
micros.
That's actually kind of nice because it's got the ratchet on the end of it too.
Oh, look at that thing, dude.
And this
Also, you flip
is
it over for one way, flip it over for the other way for ratcheting.
yep,
Platurna. That's cool, man.
some good cutters.
What are they
here.
charging for this set, man? This set looks really sweet.
This set is $50
with a soldering iron.
Yeah, I'm about to buy one of these. As a matter of
Holy
fact,
smokes, dude!
next order we're gonna put these in for up at Excel. So we'll have these at Excel in a couple months.
This would definitely be something nice. This is basically the list that we just broke down.
Right.
They've got a lot of the items: the flux pen, the soldering iron, all that stuff. So yeah, guys, this looks like a really good buy here for $50.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll put a link to that in the description too. You guys can get that.
Yeah,
Or
so that
in the
wraps up
Discord.
our
In
so
the
that wraps
Discord.
up our list